بينطبق عليهم بينطبق I again forgot about you. What applies to Invisalign applies to everyone else. We're going to use their platform, it's just because what's available for us. Okay. Usually each platform or the major companies would need some records so you can submit the case. We talked about it. They need intraoral photos. Just in case your scan, your impressions were not accurate, they can always refer back and match it to your photos. Sometimes what happens if there is some, and it rarely happens now, but if the records get mixed, they can refer to the photos so they would know which case or form. Okay, I already prepared that template for you. We're going to use it for the submission. The other thing, you might or might not use a panoramic. It's not mandatory, but usually I like to upload it because it's handy for me. If I'm looking for the root parallelism, then I don't have to go back and check my records. I have it in the same file. I don't need that. So this is how the Invisalign platform looks like. You log into your account, you have the list of the patients, you just add a new patient, and then you start filling up the data. Once you do that, the name, the last name, female, the gender, and the date of birth, then you move to some information about the case. What are we dealing with? Crowding, spacing, class 2, class 3. This is for future reference. We upload the patient's photo. It's either one by one or you can use the template. I prefer the template because it saves a lot of time. So I prepare the template, I upload it, I upload the X-ray, it's ready. And then when we come to this page or to this part of the submission, this is where you connect your scan to the case you are working with. The cases are already, that we scan for, are already uploaded to the Sirona. Hopefully they're going to be ready now. And then they will match the first name or the last name to the last name, and if it's available, they'll bring it. In case we are not using that, you are using PBS impressions, you choose that one. And then we start filling the questionnaire or the submission form. And it's just a series of questions on your case and how you want to deal with it. So you give them some guidelines to start with. Okay, there are different categories. We're just going to go for the adults because all the patients we had adults. Invisalign clear aligners. And then we're going to choose the comprehensive package. And the reason why, because this is what gives you the most number and the of aligners and the flexibility of aligners. Okay, just in case. The comprehensive is good for 5 years, unlimited number of aligners. So it's like a security for you. Okay?
How much does it cost?
I'm sorry?
How much does it cost?
It depends, it depends on your discount, depends on your fee. Okay? But if you want to have a flat price, starting price in the States, it's $1840. In Saudi, it's about 10,000 riyals. Okay, I don't know about Kuwait. Maybe Dr. Khalid knows.
800.
800?
KD.
Okay. And that's without any discount, starting
Yeah,
from.
exactly.
So the first page is going to be which teeth you want to move, which teeth you don't want to move. Okay? You have all the teeth numbers here, upper and lower. If you choose none, you are giving freedom to the technician or whoever is working on the case to move all the teeth. Okay? If you have certain teeth that you don't want to move, then you check them now, so they will be blocked from being moved. Okay? Any ideas why you don't want to move teeth?
Incorrect.
Yes, but what when you would select this?
Implants.
Implants, for example, good. Yes, because what happens if you decide to move an implant?
No move.
That's one, but this it doesn't matter because it's not gonna move anyway. But when I apply a force to the implant, that force is not gonna go anyway.
Affect the other teeth.
Exactly. Okay, the force has to go somewhere.
Yes.
This was a resorption of
Maybe this is one of the things.
Periodontitis, maybe?
Maybe. But what I'm saying is, by applying a force to an implant, we know that the implant is not gonna move, but that force is gonna go somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else?
Bridges.
Bridges, good example. Ankylosing.
Yes.
Okay. So this is important when you have such things. The second one is the attachments. Where do you want the attachments to be, or if you want to exclude any teeth from having attachments? Example, crowns, bridges. If you want to exclude any prosthetics from having an attachment to it, or any front teeth. Some patients don't want to have any attachments on their front teeth. That's the time you choose if you don't want to have any attachments. The next choice is going to be what are the arch of teeth, upper, lower, or both. Most of the times it's going to be both. The first thing they ask you is, if you have an AP discrepancy, anterior posterior, how do you want to fix that? What are your options? It's either you maintain it the way it is, you don't change it. If you have a class 2 or class 3, if you want to improve it. But when you hit improve, you have to give them specific information about how to improve it. And that's it.
or something.
يعني
شوف
يعني ايش معنى؟
فيوز
ها؟
فيوز
No.
دكتور امبروفمنت زي حالات مثلا اذا بعمل سيرجري
ايش معنى انه بس هي الغرفة يعني؟
Okay. Circuit. Just
Say that again.
الانتيريور posterior discrepancy انت قصدك يا دكتور لما بعمل سيرجري معامل امبروفمنت
Surgery is one of the options. Okay? Yeah, one of the, but if you have anterior posterior discrepancy, okay, like a class 2 or a class 3, if you are thinking of fixing that, that's the time to tell them how do you want to fix it. It's either you maintain it or
as it is or do
you create spaces and you try to move teeth to that space, like class 2. Maybe you can extract premolars and distalize everything. Class 3, extract 2 premolars and distalize the lower. Maybe you can set the case for a surgery, okay? Maybe use class 2 elastics. Maybe distalization. لا انا بستخدم الكمبيوتر كتير حالات بس مش كل حالات
ولا ايه؟ لا كثير ماشي
Not too.
Okay, again, sorry about that. Anterior posterior, how to improve the canine relationship? Class 2, class 3. What are our options? So, usually if you choose to change that, you need to give them details. How to do it. Are you planning to use elastics? And then they can simulate the movement on the clinic chair, okay, and maybe achieve a bite jump. Surgery, sterilization, whatever is in your mind, you have to give them the sequence. So they plan the clinic check in that way. The overjet. If you have a deep bite or an open bite, how do you want them to deal with that? Sorry, overjet, anterior posterior. How do you want them to do that? Usually, what I do is I check the show the resulting overjet after alignment. Then I see how much I'm gonna deal with, and then in the next step I decide how I will change it.
In creature.
In the clinic, yes. Okay. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes the good thing is about having simulation is once you have all the alignment, you know what you are dealing with. So I decide at that point how I'm gonna deal that. If I'm dealing with something minor, I might add just some kind of intraoral elastics. Okay. You might decide to add IPR, but my experience, at least with this company, when you tell them to use IPR, maybe Dr. Khalid knows that, they go crazy. They love IPR. They add it everywhere. Okay. I don't know if it's the technician or it's the software that is set up in this way. Now come to the deep bite, the overbite. Whether you have an open bite or a deep bite, how do you want to deal with that? The first thing is just leave it or just do the alignment and see what you are dealing with. And usually this is what I go with, unless I'm dealing with a severe open bite or a severe deep bite from the very beginning. And this is my goal of treatment. Otherwise, we talked about the mechanics. Has to be something, right?
يعني لا بس الشاحن تبع جو لابتوبك صح؟
اللابتوب
أنا راح أجيبك. Abdullah is here, feel safe.
Okay. So we talked about the mechanics. It's either you choose the bite turbos with extrusion of premolars or intrusion of molars and extrusion of anteriors when you deal with an open bite. Okay. And I don't know what's the next slide. Bite runs, this is what we talked about. Bite runs is a feature that you add to the aligners. They don't come by default. Okay, if you don't ask for them, they're not gonna put them for you. Do you remember what bite runs? Okay, the small protrusions on the aligners.
I forgot.
The bite runs, the small protrusions, the triangles on the aligner from the lingual to open the bite. Okay, if you have a midline discrepancy, how do you want to move that? Okay, the upper and lower. Which one is off and how do you want to move it? Do you want to do any IPR interproximal reduction so you move it from one side to the other?
مشكلة الكونكشن ولا باللابتوب؟
لا أتوقع
لو بس
اللابتوب عم بيفصل جوا الشاحن. ولا كمان خلاص رجع عبد الله حلت المشكلة. بس تشوف عبد الله بحس بالراحة. بس ما لازم تنحل. إن شاء الله.
عبد الله في هون ما فيش ثاني كيف عملت
في واحد هون عبد الله في واحد هون بس هلا في واحد هون والمدة على الطاولة إذا معك اكستنشن.
له في حسن.
ليش تختار خالص؟ السؤال التاسع هو بيسألك عن الكروس بايت، إذا كان في بوستيريور كروس بايت، هلا باي ديفولت هو بيحطها إنه دونت كوريكت، ما بيحاول يصلحها باي ديفولت، إلا إذا اخترت إنك تصلحها. هاي الصفحة اللي تحط أو this page is how to deal with the crowding and the spacing. Okay. You can choose your defaults. These are my defaults, how I do it. Do you want to expand? Is that your first option, or when you need it, or not? Do you want to procline, or do you want to do IPRs? If you notice, I blocked the IPR, so they will never give me an IPR in the first clinic check because I blocked that option. The reason why is this is the way they go. Usually they will give you IPR everywhere. Same thing for the lower. If you have a crowding, how do you want to solve that? The next question is about spacing. Actually, extraction. If you are planning to extract, which teeth are you planning to extract? This page is related to teens when you are dealing with teen cases, kids and teenagers. We're gonna talk about it when we talk about the teen cases. again, the last page usually have the special notes. If you have any special instructions that are not listed in the question, you just give them in writing. Just write them down, give them instruction about how to deal with what. You just verify your scan, the photos, the x-rays, review the submission form, and then you submit it. Once you submit it, they're gonna start working on it. They're gonna connect the scan to this, and they're gonna start developing a treatment plan.
How
Okay,
would
so-
they connect the scan to the application? By
How?
the name?
Yes, by the patient name, usually last
Patient
name.
name.
Patient last name. So make sure you use the same last name you used when you did, I mean, whatever name you used on the
And when
scanner.
can I apply the submission after the scanning? How long will it take?
If you are using an iTero, after 5 minutes.
And if I'm using a normal Invisalign?
Usually with Xeron, it might take up to an hour.
Hour.
Yeah.
What if we have like two patients have same family name?
Then it's the first name. They will check the last name and the first name. And
There's
even
no
if you
number?
have,
Number?
there will be a number, the scan number as a reference.
Yes.
Okay, usually what happens, if you are using Sirona, the Omnicam that we were using, if it's connected to your email, you're gonna get like an order form with the patient name and the order number, the scan number. So if you cannot find it by name, you can look by this number.
I don't know.
File number?
It's not a file number, it's the order number. The order number by Sirona. And, okay,
No, but when we create the file itself,
the file number that you choose over there doesn't mean anything.
okay.
Okay, when you remember when we open the file for each patient, that number is not used for anything.
So after this scan, you should wait this 1 hour, or you can submit that later on, they will send the scan to your submission.
Say that again.
When you scan,
Okay.
you say they sometimes need 1 hour or more.
Yeah.
For the scan to reach them.
Yes.
You can make this step immediately after the scan and
The problem, no, because you cannot start the prescription form until
without this.
it's gonna ask you to connect the scan before anything.
So you should wait.
You should wait. Yeah. Okay. So the group who was working with Juliet is the group who's gonna go first because I think her scan should be ready. Let's check. I prepared the template yesterday for you. You're gonna do this on the big screen as a group if you want. We're gonna take it step by step because you know your case, you know what you are thinking. We're gonna check if you are thinking right or not next time. Abdullah.
That's what you are.
كله شايفها لا كله عم يسجلها. انا بس جواب لسؤالك انه كيف اني عارف اذا كان موجوده اسم سيرونا بدك تفتح على سبورت بيج
تركيز
ماي افيلبل
My available scans. ولا واحد.
والله دورة البوتكس والفيلر كان اسهل it's fun والله العظيم برسم بالطريقة انا كنت ارسم بوتكس حق واحد بدون ما احتاج اني اروح حق حد واللي نو ذا knowledge out of it سهل طخ 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 وخلاص ما
دون اماكن معينه
Did you remember last name?
جولييت